Hi everyone, welcome. In this video, we will be reviewing the process to hire international students at USC. Today, we will cover the essential aspects to ensure we are following regulations properly, providing applicable documentation, and maintaining accurate records. This content is being presented by both the Division of Human Resources and the Payroll Department, as both departments share in the process.
As you may know, hiring international students takes a little extra effort compared to that for maybe a US citizen. This presentation aims to guide you through that process to make it easier for those hiring students and prevent delays or hiccups along the way.
Let's start with the I-9 form. The I-9 or Employment Eligibility Verification Form is crucial for verifying an employee's identity and their right to work in the U.S. The University of South Carolina utilizes the I-9 Advantage system. International students are also required to maintain an active I-9 on file. The document requirements for international employees differ from those of U.S. nationals, so pay special attention to these requirements and the documents being presented. When initiating a case, it's important to verify that all documentation has been presented by the employee. If an employee does not have a social security number at the time of hire, remember to note that down. You must add the SSN once it's obtained. The student will be responsible to contact International Student Support Services to initiate the process of obtaining an SSN. Keep in mind, the I-9 case cannot be closed, nor can we mark the status as employment authorized without a SSN. SSN is required for E-Verify. Finally, it's crucial to monitor work authorizations. Use the dashboard to track any expiring authorizations. This proactive approach helps avoid lapses in employment eligibility. Be sure to check the dashboard regularly to stay on top of any upcoming expiration dates. For detailed guidance, refer to the M274 handbook, which outlines everything you need to know about completing the I-9 correctly. Visit the I-9 Advantage Quick Reference Guide for additional information.
Here we have included some examples of various documents that you might want to include. Note, this does not include every type of document for each visa. In the middle, we have F1's I-20 form, so that's something you're going to see. The F1 is our most common visa type, as well as some visa stamps, the EAD card, which doesn't pertain particularly to the F1, but it may relate to any OPT work they may have done in the past. And then for the J1, which is our other most popular visa, you have the DS 2019 form, which is in the middle, and then the I-94 that is on the right, that's going to show their date they entered the country.
Once the I-9 form has been completed, you are ready to complete the next step, the Student Hire E-Form. In order to initiate a Hire E-Form, the student must be actively enrolled at USC and have an active current address on file in Self-Service Carolina, aka Banner. All documents presented for the I-9 can and should be attached to the Student Hire E-Form. This ensures that we have a complete record for compliance audits. As a Student Hire representative, you will need to upload the student's documentation to the Student Hire E-Form. Please note, the Student Hire E-Form can be submitted before completing the I-9 form, but we highly recommend that you verify employment eligibility first by completing the I-9 form. International student hires have different enrollment requirements depending on the time of the year. During the academic year, undergraduate international student hires must be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours. International graduate student hires with assistantship must be enrolled in at least 6 credit hours unless they have received approval for Z status. Z status refers to a special under-enrollment exception that comes at the approval of the dean of the graduate school. International graduate student hires without assistantship during the academic year must be enrolled in at least 1 credit hour. During the summertime, undergraduate international student hires are not required to have active enrollment, but must intend to continue their studies during the next fall semester. International graduate student hires with assistantship must be enrolled in at least 3 credit hours unless they have received approval for Z status. International graduate student hires without assistantship are not required to have active enrollment, but must intend to continue their studies during the fall semester. Newly admitted international students cannot begin working during the summer until June 1st of that year and must have enrolled in classes for the fall semester. Now, let's talk about international student work hours. International students are allowed to work up to 20 hours per week while classes are in session. This is crucial to ensure that students maintain their academic focus and to comply with visa regulations. When it comes to official school breaks, the rules change. During these periods, which include summer, winter break, fall break, and spring break, international students can work up to 40 hours per week. Visit the Hire Student webpage for a general overview of considerations when hiring a student employee. When you begin the Hire e-form for an international student, it is important to pay special attention to the various fields that affect an international student's employment eligibility. In the Student Information section, verify the nationality of the student and ensure they are registered for an appropriate number of credits for the time period that you wish to hire them for. In the Other Active Jobs section, you will see any other jobs that the student may have on campus. Be sure that your hire will not put the student over any applicable limitations and hours that they can work per week. After verifying that the student is eligible to work as a student employee, fill out their hire information completely and accurately. Before you submit your hire, you will need to verify if the student will need a background check screening and acknowledge. Students who handle money, work with minors, access keys, and are involved with direct patient care all need background checks. You will also be required to upload the Foreign National Tax Information Form, as well as the documents required by this form according to the student visa type. Ensure you complete both sections accurately.
Let's take a moment to discuss the Foreign National Tax Information Form and why it's needed. This form aids payroll in determining tax residency. A properly completed form mitigates delays, as timely and accurate submissions eliminate the need for payroll team to contact the student directly. This process ensures that the student is taxed appropriately, preventing any potential issues of being undertaxed or overtaxed, and also prevents any inaccuracies in their FICA taxes. Those inaccuracies may result in a department incurring FICA fringe costs unnecessarily. Additionally, it helps ascertain the student's eligibility for any tax treaties, which might offer them exemptions from withholding tax. You can find the form on the Payroll Department website in the International Payroll section. Simply navigate to the International Payroll tab and then click the link to access the PDF version of the form. The student should complete the form and update it upon each rehire with any changes in their information. For example, many of our students change addresses throughout the year or travel in and out of the country, so those fields should be updated appropriately each semester with a fresh date and a signature for those rehires. Please include copies of all visas, passports, the I-20 for F1 visas, the DS 2019 for J1s, EAD cards when applicable, I-94s, and any other supporting immigration documents that may pertain to any current or previous U.S. visits.
Visit the Student Hire Training page for Student Employment Action job aids and resources. Now, let's walk through the process of hiring an international student using the Student Hire e-form in PeopleSoft HCM. This form serves as a snapshot in time, meaning once it has been initiated, it doesn't update. It's important to enter all information accurately and attach all applicable documentation. Hiring an international student is similar to hiring a U.S. national. Head to My Homepage and then scroll to the ePath homepage tile. Next, you'll search for your student via their name or their USC ID, which is referred to as Employee ID in HCM. Once you've located your student, hit the drop-down menu and select Student Hire from the Actions menu. In the Student Information section, you may see details that are useful to completing the I-9 or the Student Hire e-form, such as U.S. citizenship status, the country of citizenship, and the visa or permit type. In the Current and Future Enrollment, the student's current and future enrollment will be listed. Please be sure that the student meets any requirements. Under Other Active Jobs, you will see any other hires that the student currently has for other departments on campus. Please be sure that your hire request does not put the student above any limits on the amount of hours that they may work per week. Once you verify the employment eligibility of your student, you can complete the hiring information. After completing the hire information, enter the account funding information. Next, you will need to indicate if a background check will be required. Background checks are required for students who handle money, work with minors, are involved in direct patient care, or have key access. You will then be asked about the I-9 verification. You can select future dated hire, I-9 verified as current, or new case created. New case created may be a situation in which you have requested the social security number and the student is waiting to get that social security number. Finally, you will need to be sure that you add any necessary attachments. For the international student hire, you will need to upload a foreign national tax information form with each hire. Make sure that the signature date on the form matches the employment dates on the e-form. Next, you will need to upload any supporting immigration documents. Please include copies of all visas, passports, the I-20 for F1 visas, DS-2019 for J-1 visas, EAD cards where applicable, I-94s, and other supporting immigration documents that pertain to any U.S. visits. Once you have verified that your e-form is complete, you can hit the submit button. It will be routed through the normal workflows for student employees.
Thank you for joining us today. The information we share with you in this video will help you maintain a compliant and efficient hiring process for our international students. If you have any questions, reach out to your HR representative or the payroll department.